Hi, this is Janossy. This is a lecture for the first project in Unit 1. I'm going to explain to you how this project works and what you have to do. This is what Project 1 looks like on page 35. It's totally contained on one page. The first part is an example of a short message. Hello there from C3PO. Alright, way back to Star Trek days. The point of this is that the gray areas are filled with the letters of the message, one letter for each one of the columns, and the lower part is filled with the corresponding ASCII code expressed as zeros and ones. Where this comes from is, of course, page 11. Page 11 is an ASCII chart that I've reproduced from a website indicated at the bottom of that page. I wrote the message I wanted to send in the gray boxes at 1.1, and in the lower areas I translated the letter into the corresponding ASCII code. The second part of this project deals with forming your own message and then translating it into ASCII using page 11. And the third part is to convey your message, that is the message you formed in 1.1b, in some unique way other than zeros and ones. Some physical representation, something standing for a 0, something standing for a 1, and then taking a picture of it and sending me that picture. Preferably with you in the picture, as you'll see in an example that I'll show you. Let's go back to part 1.1a, the first of the three parts of this project. Here you see the capital letter H and its corresponding ASCII code. I got that from page 11, as you see here. The second letter, a lowercase e, I got from this part of the chart, and you can see that uppercase and lowercase really do have different representations. If you look at the capital letter E, which is just to the left of the lowercase e on this chart, you'll see that the bit pattern is different. So uppercase and lowercase are different, and they have different ASCII bit patterns. Take a look at how I translated each one of these letters, and also the fact that space, which appears to be nothing, actually is something. It has an ASCII representation. So notice that although space doesn't have a printable representation, in order to get a space, you do have to transmit this ASCII code. Fill out the last two lines, as you see here, translating part of my message into ASCII. And that will complete this part of the assignment. However, realize that I don't need your paper version of this assignment. I need the electronic version. So the QR code that you see at the bottom right on this page will actually download a word processing version of this same page so that you can eventually complete that document and send it to me. You complete it using a word processor and inserting your answers where you see these red boxes on this first part of the project. Now let's take a look at the second part of the project, 1.1b. Here you're going to form your own message of 16 letters or less, and typically students would say something like, I'm going to eat dinner, or going to a movie, or going to a party, or having fun. It doesn't have to be all 16 letters, but it should be at least half of them. And then translate all of the boxes, including any trailing spaces, into ASCII code. So this is a message of your own formation, and you fill it out and then translate it into ASCII. Now let's take a look at 1.1c, that is the third part of this project. Here you're going to figure out a way to represent the message that you formed in 1.1b. You're going to figure out a way to represent it in some physical form, not zeros and ones. What I'm looking for here is you find two physical objects, pennies and nickels, red paper, green paper. One student used plastic knives and forks. Some way of representing those zeros and ones, but in some other physical representation. And here you see a student who actually had done that from a prior term, and she used plastic knives and spoons. One is the zeros and one is the ones. The picture that you see here is an example of one part of what you submit. I need a picture like that with you in the picture and your physical representation of your message. I also need that word process document, however, on which you put the information that you've put together for parts 1.1a and 1.1b. So you submit both of these items as attachments to an email to the dedicated course email address. One thing to avoid, don't code ASCII as zeros and ones. That's not what we're looking for here. And I'm not looking for you to take gumdrops and form them into the shape of ones and zeros. That's not the point either. It's not that hard. If you use gumdrops, for example, you would use one color for the zeros and one color for the ones. And then you would take a picture as you saw on the prior slide. And that's really all there is to doing project 1.1. You should at this point be up to doing this project. Just to keep you paced through the course, you do have several projects to do in Unit 1, and you need to have, by this point, several days into the term, read through enough of the material so that you understand how to do project 1.1. Don't delay in submitting your projects. That is, don't bunch them all up and attempt to submit all of Unit 1 at one time. As soon as you get done with a project, submit it to me, and I will grade it. I will give you feedback. If it's not entirely correct, I will also suggest that you revise and resubmit it within 10 days, at which time I will regrade it. So you do get a chance to revise and resubmit work in this course. I think that's all part of a mentoring relationship. It's how you can learn to perfect each one of these projects. And your learning is the goal here. I don't see each of these projects as kind of a test to see if you caught on. I do that determination as a part of the grading, but then I give you the chance to respond to my feedback and correct the project so that, as with the other homework, the USFs, you get a chance to boost your grade, but you get a chance to understand things better. And that's the whole point. So have fun with this project and look forward to the other projects in this unit.